Question was
Recording in
regarding
progress.
the Vedic Sanskrit. So, what is the difference between Vedic Sanskrit and classical Sanskrit? So, basically, in Sanskrit, the classical language is called as Laukika Sanskrit. So, Vedika and Laukika, these are the two, we can say, versions of Sanskrit language. Now, there is one understanding that in Sanskrit language from thousands of years, there has been no change. The words are the same as they are, the forms are same as they are. And this is true up to some extent, but we cannot say that it is 100% true, because when we study Sanskrit language, and especially when we study the language of the Vedic literature, the language of the Vedas, that is little different from the Sanskrit language which we are studying today, or the language in which the books are written after the Vedic period. Now, what are the differences? Now, afterwards, we can have a separate session on that, because there are many technical aspects which we can refer to when we try to understand the differences between Vedic Sanskrit and Laukik Sanskrit or the classical Sanskrit, because there are several points and they are related to the grammar, and we have not yet studied the grammar. So when we will study that part, then definitely I will explain more about the differences between the Vedic Sanskrit and the classical Sanskrit. But because the question was asked yesterday, I thought that I will just share the uh, the the chart. Basically, it is the chart of the languages which belong to the family called as Indo-European languages, because Sanskrit language belongs to the family which is called as Indo-European, and all our we can say most of the North Indian languages, they also belong to same family. South Indian languages, they belong to a different family, that is a Dravidian family, but mostly the North Indian languages, they belong to the big umbrella or the big family which is called as Indo-European family. So just briefly, I will show you the chart. Actually, there are many languages which are member of this family. Okay, so Indo-European, and there are many branches. So this is Anatolian, then Hellenic, Indo-Iranian, Italic, Celtic. So there are, if we go through this chart, then there are hundreds of languages mentioned here, and all these languages belong to the family called as Indo-European languages. Now, especially if we focus on our Indian languages and the branch which is related to the Indian languages, then the main family is Indo-European, and under that, the subfamily is Indo-Iranian. So, Iranian language. Now, the old Iranian basically was called as Avestan language. Now, nowadays we know that in Iran, the Persian language is spoken, and the Persian language is also having a lot of influence of the Arabic language, and it is written right to left. So that is a different language now. But the old Persian, in the ancient times, the old Persian language was basically called as Avesta language or Avestan language. Now, see here, in the Iranian family, you can see the name of Avestan language. So, this Avestan language and the Vedic Sanskrit, they were very close, because probably their origin was same. And from that one origin, these two branches got developed in the later period. So there are many scholars who have studied Vedic Sanskrit, the characteristics of Vedic Sanskrit, and they also have studied the Avestan language, which belongs to the Iranian family. And they found that there are many similarities between Vedic Sanskrit and the Avestan language, which is the old Persian language, old Iranian language. Now, in Iran, nobody speaks that language, but we have some scriptures available, and there are many scholars who have studied the similarities and the differences between Vedic Sanskrit and the Avestan language. And then from Vedic Sanskrit, the modern Sanskrit originated. There were some modifications in that language. And there was another tradition, Prakrit language. So in Prakrit also there are several dialects. Maharashtri Prakrut, Gandhari Prakrut, Shauraseni Prakrut, Magadhi Prakrut. And from these all Prakrit variations or the Prakrit dialects, all the other, all the modern Indian languages have originated. So we can see all the names here: Oriya, Assami, Bihari, Bengali, Bhojpuri, Maithili, Konkani, Marathi. So all these modern Indian languages, they have originated from the variations of the Prakrit language or the dialects of the Prakrit language. But Prakrit and Sanskrit can be considered as the parallel languages, and Sanskrit, the language that we are studying now, that is the modern Sanskrit or that is the classical Sanskrit, but it is also originated from the earlier version which is called as Vedic Sanskrit. So Vedic Sanskrit and the Avestan are on the parallel lines. Okay, so this is just little bit about the family of Sanskrit language. It belongs to Indo-European family. Okay, so that was one question in yesterday's session. Another question was regarding the pronunciation of Anuswara. Okay, so now again, I will show you one table. Now, in Hindi or in other Indian languages, we often give Anuswara, but actually in Sanskrit, there is a practice of writing the nasal sound instead of Anuswara for the clear understanding of articulation. Now, some of the examples are given here. Now, yesterday only we have seen the families or the vargas of the consonants. So we have seen the families Ka varga, then Cha varga, Ta varga, Ta varga, and Pa varga. So we have seen these families of the consonants. Now, these are the words written in Sanskrit, but if we write them in Hindi or if we write them in Marathi, then we will give Anuswara on A and then we will write Ka, Anka, Mangala. So we will write Anuswara on Ma and then we will write Ga and La. But in Sanskrit, there is a practice that where the Anuswara has to be used and where the other nasal sounds have to be used. So there is a specific rule for that. And in Sanskrit, what should be the pronunciation of Anuswara? Whether it should be Na or it should be Ma. So again, that depends on what is the next letter. So what should be the pronunciation of Anuswara? It depends on what is the next letter after Anuswara. Accordingly, the pronunciation of Anuswara will be decided. Now, this is the first family, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga. Okay, we have taken two examples for each of the family. Now see, if we write Anuswara on A, what is the next letter after Anuswara? It is Ka, Anka. Imagine that we are writing in Hindi and we are writing Anuswara on A and then after that we are writing Ka. But in Sanskrit, okay, I'm just typing here so that we can understand. So we will write like this in Hindi. Now after Anuswara, the next the next consonant is K, and therefore from the family of K, the nasal sound is Ng, and therefore we will replace that Anuswara with Ng, and the articulation will be Anka. Now, even if we write Anuswara, we articulate the same sound. We say Anka only, but instead of writing that Ng, we are writing Anuswara. So then it creates confusion. What exactly is the pronunciation of that Anuswara? So after Anuswara, we have to see what is the next letter. Now, in this case, the next letter is K, and therefore, in the family of K, the nasal sound is Ng, which we have to consider instead of Anuswara. So Anka, it should be written like this. The second example, Mangala. In Hindi, we will write like this. But here again, we have to see that what is the next letter after Anuswara? It is G. Again from the family of G, which is the nasal sound, that is Ng. So we have to write and we have to chant like this. Mangala. So K, Kh, G, Gh, Ng. Like yesterday, we saw the articulation of all these sounds. Mangala. So this is the method of writing in Sanskrit. And when we write like this, then we can easily understand what is the pronunciation of that particular word. It does not create the confusion, because when we write Anuswara, then it may create confusion. But in Sanskrit, if we write the proper nasal sound, which we are articulating instead of Anuswara, then it does not create the confusion in the mind. And therefore, for the purpose of clarity, we are following this method in Sanskrit. Similarly, the next example from the next family, Chanchala. Now, in Hindi, we will write like this. But again, the same rule that after Anuswara, the next letter is Ch, and from the family of Ch, the nasal sound, the Anunasika Varna is Ng. So, we should write like this, Chanchala. Now, again, here we make the mistake in pronunciation. We articulate Chanchala, N. We say N, but that is wrong. Ideally, the pronunciation should be Chanchala, because cha cha ja jha nya Chanchala. That is the correct pronunciation. Chanchala. Even for another word, Anjana. Here also we say na, Anjana. But ideally it should be Ainjana. Ainjana. Chanchala. Ainjana. Then the third group is ta tha da dhana. So in Hindi we write like this, Kantha. But again here after Anuswara there is Tha, and in the family of Tha the nasal sound is Na, so we have to say Kantha. Now here while speaking we use Na only, but while writing we write Anuswara. But in Sanskrit we have to write like this, Kantha. Danda. So after Anuswara, the next letter is D, and in the family of D, the nasal sound is N. So we have to write like this, Danda. Same rule for the other words, Danta. After Anuswara, there is T, and in the family of T, the nasal sound is N. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Danta. Andha. After Anuswara, the next letter is Dha. So, N. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. From the family of Dha, the nasal sound is N. So, we have to say Andha. And while writing also, we have to write Andha. Dambha. After Anuswara, the next letter is Bha. So, Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha, Ma. In the family of Bha, Anunasika Varna, the nasal sound is Ma. So, Dambha and Shambhu. So after Anuswara, there is Bha, and therefore we replace that Anuswara with Ma. So Shambhu. Now in this way, we are supposed to use the nasal sounds which are in the families of Ka, Cha, Ta, Ta, and Pa. But then after that, in the last family, which we saw, it is the family like a miscellaneous Varnas, miscellaneous alphabets are included in that family. And in that family, there is no nasal sound. There is no Anunasika Varna in the last family. Ya, Ra, La, Va, Sh, Sh, Sa, Ha. Because yesterday we saw that nasal sound means whenever we articulate the sound with the help of mouth also and with the help of nose also, the air passes through the mouth and the air passes through the nose also. But any of these vowels do not need the air passing through the nose, and they are not the nasal sounds. So only in the case of ya, ra, la, va, sh, sh, sa, ha, if they are coming after Anuswara, then we have to write Anuswara only. Like here, Prashamsa. After Anuswara, there is Sa, so we will write Anuswara only, and we will not write any nasal sound. Kaunsa. After Anuswara, there is Sa, so it should be Anuswara only. Now, what should be the pronunciation of that? Now, again, in different parts of India, the pronunciation is different. In North India, it will be chanted like Prashansa, N is articulated. And in South India, Prashamsa. Even if you see the spelling of Sanskrit in the south part of India, they write the spelling of Sanskrit as Samkrit. But actually, the ideal pronunciation is not even n, not even m, but it is au, prashamsa. So in Maharashtra, there is a correct pronunciation, Sanskrita, Sanskrita, prashamsa, kaunsa. So it is not n, it is not even m, but it is au, because the air is passing through the nose and that is also the nasal sound. So prashamsa, Sanskrita, kaunsa, these are the ideal pronunciations of anuswara. Okay, so while writing, also we have to keep this thing in our mind that after anuswara, whatever letter is coming, instead of anuswara, we are supposed to write the nasal sound which belongs to the family of that particular letter, that particular alphabet. And if after anuswara, ya, ra, la, va, sh, sa, ha, any of them are coming, then only we should write anuswara. Swara, the pronunciation of anuswara. Now, regarding visarga, we are going to see afterwards that how the pronunciation of visarga should be, because yesterday we saw visarga means release of air. The literal meaning of visarga is visarjana, release of air. And the ideal sound of that visarga is ah, like when we are tired, then we make this sound. And even whenever we are speaking, whenever there is visarga, we are supposed to release the air, and that is called as visarga. But it also needs, means whenever we chant the visarga, we have to see what is the earlier vowel, what is the earlier sound. Accordingly, the pronunciation of visarga should happen. But we will see that afterwards, because we are going to read afterwards many sentences, many words, many passages. So at that time, we will see what is the correct pronunciation of visarga. Okay, so there were two questions in yesterday's session. So we discussed about them today first. Now, let us go back to our textbook. And yesterday, we started with the basic alphabets, and we saw what is the pronunciation of the vowels, what is the pronunciation of the consonants. So once again, I will repeat that, and then I will request somebody to volunteer and to uh, again recite those alphabets. So if in case if there is any mistake, then we can understand what is the mistake and why the mistake is happening. We can correct that. So anybody can volunteer. First, I am reading A, A, I, E, U, U, R, 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 A, I, O, Au, Aha. Then we saw the signs that we use for writing purpose, but they don't have a separate articulation. It is the same like the vowels. And then the consonants are k, kh, g, gh, ng, ch, ch, j, jh, y, t, th, d, dh, ण, t, th, d, ध, n, p, ph, b, bh, m, y, r, l, v, sh, sh, s, h. Now, last three we are skipping because, as we discussed yesterday, that they are not originally counted as the consonants in Sanskrit, even though author has given them. Pala can be there in the Vedic Sanskrit, but ksha and jya are the combinations of the consonants. So ideally, they are not counted as the separate consonants. Definitely, they are part of Sanskrit language, but they are not counted as the separate consonants. Okay, so Anybody ready to volunteer? Please raise your hand. Okay, Gauravji.
Okay, sir. Let's try. A, E, E, U, U, R, R, L, A, I, O, Ah.
Okay, now here there are two things that need to be corrected. When you said I, so it is coming like I, but it should not be A, it should be I.
I.
Similarly, for au, it should not be O. In Hindi, we say O, but it should be au,
Ow.
au, au, au.
Ow.
Yeah. So I and au.
I. Ow.
Hmm.
Okay.
And the consonant.
Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Gya, Na, Cha, Cha, Ja, Jha, Na, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na, Ta, Pa, Da, Dha, Na, Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha, Ma, Ya, Ra, La, Va, Sha, Sha, Sa, Ha.
Okay. In the nasal sounds in the first two families, they
Yeah.
need to be corrected. So it is k, kh, g, gh, ng. Now,
No.
the trick to remember that, like in English, we use ing after the verbs going, coming. So
Yes.
remember that sound, and that is the
Yes.
sound of ng, ng,
No.
mm,
No.
going.
No. Yes.
Yes, that is
No.
the sound. Or another trick that if you don't remember what is the correct pronunciation,
Mm.
remember any word where after this sound or after maybe anuswara, any letter from this family comes. Like we saw just now, like mangala. Now take a pause on that sound and try to understand what the sound is. Mangala. Mm,
Mangala.
yes. So now you get it properly.
Yes.
So if we
Okay.
have confusion, then we have to think about a word where after anuswara, any letter from that one family is coming, and we have to wait there. We have to increase the duration of that. So mangala, anka, then we get it properly. Similarly with the second one, cha, cha, ja, jha, nya. So it is nya, nya.
Yeah.
Yes, to write, if you want to understand it in a simple way, you can write year and Ardha Chandra over that year. So it is year, year. Cha, cha, ja, jha, year. Chain chala.
Yeah.
Yes. Jnana, jnana, jya. So it is
Jnana.
year, year.
Jnana. Yeah.
Jnana.
Okay.
Okay, so ng, ya, na, na, ma. These are the nasal sounds.
Okay.
Yes, Varsha ji. Yes.
Sir, opposite.
Hmm.
O, A, E, E, U, U, R. सर हे मला तीन कन्फ्यूज वाटतंय. ल च कसं करायचंय?
R, R.
ल ल ए ऐ ओ औ आह.
Okay, so for these, like we whistle, if we try to whistle,
हम्म.
the tongue is touching the upper palate, and
र र
then the tongue is little flat, then we can articulate R. R.
R.
That the tip of the tongue is touching the upper teeth and then
That
it is
is
pulling back. R.
okay.
Okay, then the Vyanjanas.
K, K, G, G, Y,
Ng,
Ch, G,
ng,
correct? Na,
ng.
G.
But in your articulation, G is also coming, which should not come.
Yes.
It
Okay.
is ng, only ng, ng.
It
Correct.
is complete Anunasik matlab.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Ng,
Na,
correct.
Ch, Ch, J, J, Y, T, T, D, D, N, T, T, D, D, N, P, P, B, P, M, Y, R, L, B, Sh, Sh, S, P.
Yes. And then ळ,
ळ, ळ, क्ष, ञ तुम्ही म्हणता तसं म्हणायचं ज,
ज्ञ, j
ज,
and ञ. This one. J and ञ. ज्ञ.
ज,
J.
ज.
Yes. Okay, so this is only the part
Thank you,
that
sir.
we studied. Yes. This is only the part that we studied yesterday. Now, others, you can keep your hand raised because the next part also we are going to read. So you can read that part. Okay, so only the first one I'm going to explain. Then after that, the remaining combinations you can read. Now, one thing yesterday we discussed that the swara is basically called as swara because for the articulation of the vowels, we don't need any other letter, we don't need any other sound, and therefore swaras are called as swara because the etymological meaning is swayam rajate. And vyanjanas cannot be articulated independently. For the articulation of the consonants, we need to add the vowels, and therefore when we add the vowels to the consonants, then the combinations can be created, and those combinations are given here. Because vowels are like 15, so all the vowels can be added to the consonants, and we can make a separate combination out of that. So only the first part I'm going to read, and then the next part maybe you can read one by one. Okay, so now this is the sign which is given below the k. So basically it is called as halanta, or in normal language we call it like, है ना, हिंदी में हम कहते हैं कि उसका पैर काटना या उसका पैर तोड़ना. ये हमारे बोली भाषा में हुआ. So this particular sign is called as halanta, and whenever this sign is given, it means that it is the pure consonant without adding the vowel. Now I will tell you one interesting thing. The interesting thing is that when you see the symbols of all the vyanjanas, when you see the symbols of all the consonants, one thing we can observe common in all of them, that in all these signs there is some part of vertical line. Now see, in k also there is vertical line. In kh, vertical line. In g, vertical line. In gh, there is vertical line. In ng, it is small, but there is still vertical line above that ng. In ch, vertical line. Ch, there is small vertical line, but it is there. In j, jh, y. In t, th, d, dh, n. T, th, d. In the also there is small vertical line. Dh, n, p, ph, b, bh, m. Y. In r, there is a vertical line and then it is going to the right side. But there is small vertical line. In l also, in v also, in sh also, sh, s, h. So in all the consonants, when we write them, the vertical line is given. Why that vertical line is given? Actually, that vertical line is the symbol of a added to that consonant. So k plus a is that complete k. And whenever this sign is given, which we are calling as halanta, जैसे हिंदी में हम कहते हैं कि उसका पैर काटना, तो किसको काटा जा रहा है? तो उसकी जो वर्टिकल लाइन जो अ को सिंबलाइज करती है उस लाइन को काटा जा रहा है, मतलब उसमें से हमने अ को निकाल दिया. So the vertical line is basically the symbol of akara, and whenever this particular sign is given, it means that we are removing that akara, we are removing that vowel from that combination, and now it will be the pure consonant. But again, the problem is that if it is only consonant, then if it is only consonant, then we will not be able to articulate that. Okay, so once again I will explain. Vertical line is basically if we see the signs of all the vyanjanas. Okay, so this is how the k is written, this is how the k is written. So in the k sign there is a vertical line. Now my pen is actually little bold. I don't know if I can use the small one. But okay, I'll write it separately. Now this is how we write k. So in this k, this is vertical line. Okay, so in k, this is vertical line. In g, this is vertical line. In g, this is vertical line. That means whenever we write all these symbols, now there is no symbol like this. There is no symbol like this, or there is no symbol like this. That means in all the symbols that we are using for the writing purpose. Now see, whatever is written here, that is the script, that is Devanagari script. The language is Sanskrit, the script is Devanagari. I am talking about the script which is being used, and in all these symbols there is a vertical line. है ना, जितने भी यहाँ पे अक्षर लिखे हुए दिखाई दे रहे वहां पे उन सभी में कहीं ना कहीं एक खड़ी रेखा हमें दिखाई दे रही है. There is a vertical line. So that vertical line is basically the symbol of akara added to that consonant, because without adding akara, it is not possible to articulate them. Like yesterday, I tried that if I try to articulate k without a, then what will be the sound? So the sound doesn't come. So whenever we are adding a, then that becomes complete ka. And if this halanta is given, it suggests that the vertical line is to be eliminated. That means akara is removed from that sound, and it is the pure consonant without the vowel. So k plus a, k, k plus a, ka, k plus e, ki, k plus e, ki, k plus u, ku, k plus u, ku. Now, whenever we read and whenever we speak, we have to keep in mind whether it is rasva or it is dirgha, whether it is the short vowel or long vowel. Accordingly, we have to use the timing. So, if it is short matra, maybe 1 unit of time, and long matra, 2 units. So, k plus e, ki, k plus u, rasva u, ku, k plus dirgha u, ku, k plus r, kr, k plus dirgha ru, kr, k plus l, klru, k plus a, k, k plus I, kai, k plus o, ko, k plus au, kau, k plus kam, and k plus aha, kaha. So this is what we call as Barakhadi. We have studied that in nursery. So the Barakhadi of Sanskrit is given here. That means whenever all the vowels are added to the consonants, then what are the combinations of that? Okay, so author has given in the book vertically. Okay, so we can go vertically. K, ka, ki, ku, kru, kru, klru, ke, kai, ko, kau, kam, kaha. Now here on ka anuswara is given and there is no other letter after that. So if there is no other letter, we can just say m, kam. If there is some other letter, then whatever is the nasal sound in that family, we can articulate that. Okay, so this is Aksharamala. This is the combination of the consonants and the vowels. And this is for all the consonants, author has given the combinations. Okay, so we can read some of them. Okay, the next one, Kalpana ji, you can read.
Sir, Khavan?
Yes.
Kha, ki, ku, pr, kr, kr, ke, hai, ko, khau, khang, khaha.
Okay, only for khau, your sound was like
Yeah.
khou, khou,
Hmm.
but it should be khau, khou,
Oh, okay.
khou,
Khau,
khou,
khau, khau.
yeah. So your sound was like khou, but it should be khou,
Hmm.
khou.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Umaji.
Sir, again, for kha.
No, for ga you can read the next one.
Okay. It's ga, ga, gi, gu, gru, glu, ge, gai, go, gau, gang, gaha.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Zenobia ji.
Kha, kha, ki, gu, gr, 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 ke, kai, ko, khau, kham, khaha.
Correct. Yes. Okay. The next one, Kiran ji.
Gra. Sir, now it is anga or no?
No, it is no.
No. But you told no that going, then
Yeah.
coming, anga will come, no?
Yes, but now that was only for understanding. But and g, we have to eliminate that. Okay. Once I will read and maybe you can follow after that. Now see, when we say anga, we are adding also and we are adding g also before and after that ng. But we have to see only the pure sound, that is ng. And what is that sound? Ng, nga, ni, ni, ngu, ngu, ngru. Now actually there is no word which is having ng and ri. There is no word, but here all the permutation combinations are given. So ngru, 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 nge, ngai, ngo, ngau, ngam, ngaha. Okay, so do you want to try?
Yes, I try.
Hmm.
No, na, ni,
No, you are saying ana. That is t, th, d, dh, ana. Your sound is ana, but try ng.
okay.
Ng,
No,
ng.
na, no, na, ni.
No, this is n. This is n. Only focus on, like as I said, mangala. Mang, ng, nga.
No. Okay. Na, na, ni, nu, nru, nr, ne, nei, no, nan, naha.
Okay. Correct, but maybe some more improvement is required because your sound was, it was like in between n and n. Okay, maybe once again I will I will try to speak. Ng, ng. So in the throat, we should be able to feel the activity. Whenever the air is passing, actually the pronunciation is happening through the throat. Throat is the place from where this sound is articulated. Ng, nga, ni, ni, ngu, ngu, ngi, ngru, 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 ngi, ngai, ngo, ngau, ngam, ngaha. Okay, maybe you can practice it afterwards. It needs some practice because these sounds usually we don't use in our other languages, but in Sanskrit they are used. But anyways, other combinations will not be used in most of the cases. Only the first one will be used because there are no many words having this particular sound. But here only the permutation combinations are given so that we understand all the varieties of that particular sound. Okay, let us go to the next one. Yes, Madhumati ji.
Cha, cha, chi, chi, chu, chu, chru, 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 che, chai, chou, chou, chang, chah.
Yes, correct. Yes, Mitesh ji.
저, 저, 지, 지, 주, 주, 저. So that three, I'm confused.
Yeah, shru, shru,
Shu,
shilru.
shuru, che, chai, cho, chau, chum, cha.
Yes, correct. Actually, as I said that there are no words having those combinations, but here only permutation combinations are given. But otherwise, we don't find any words in Sanskrit for that. Okay. Yes, Rachana ji.
j, ja, ji, ji, ju, ju, jru, 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 j, jai, jo, jau, jam, jah.
Yes, correct. Okay. Yes, Harshita ji.
ज, झा, जी, जी, जू, जू, ज्र, 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 अ, जे, जई, जो, जाऊ, जम, झ.
Okay, so only for these three, your sound was jr. It was half j and r, but actually it is jr, jr, jrlu. But again, we don't have any word in Sanskrit, so there is no problem for that. Okay, here only the combinations are given. Okay, the next one, Satish ji.
Yes, so Gnia, right? Gnia, 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 Gnia,
Yeah.
Gnia, 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 Gni, Ni, New, New, Nra, Nra, Lra, Ni, Nai, Nyong, Nom, Nam, 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 Nam,
Yeah. The
Nya,
last. Yeah.
Nyam, Nya.
Okay, maybe we can skip these three because we don't have words in Sanskrit. Here only the combinations are given. So, yes, your articulation was correct. Only some small correction regarding the sound itself. It is ear, ear. So imagine ear and Ardha Chandra on that ear. Ear, ear.
Nya. Nya.
Yes. Ear, ear, e, e, you, you, ryu, ryu, lru, ye, yai, yo, yo, yum, yaha. Okay, so these are uh, these sounds are from the family of ch. So ch, ch, j, j, y. The next family is t family. Okay, Vatsalaji.
T, ta, ti, ti, tu, tu, tr, 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 trill, te, tai, to, tau, tum, tah.
Yes, correct. Yes, Alpaji.
थ था थी थी थू थू ट्र 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 थे ठई थो ठौ थम ठह.
Yes, correct. The next is d. Yes, Nishitaji.
D, da, di, di, do, do, dr, dro, dro, de, day, do, do, dum, dum.
Yes. The next is dh. So yes, Vijayji.
Sir,
Yeah.
yeah, nice. So, tha, tha, he, who, thro, 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 he, tho, who, thou, thung, tha.
Okay, you're reading the second column or the fourth column?
Sir, I am reading the fourth column.
But then you're saying th. Actually, this is the sound th.
Yeah, this is do. This is really do, right?
Dh, dh,
Do, do.
dh. Yes.
Do.
Dh, dha, dhi, dhi, dhu, dhu, dhru, dhr, dhlu, dhe, dhai, dho, dhau, dham, dhaha. Okay, so this is th and this is dh. So these two are different.
Right, sir.
Yeah. The next is ana. So yes, Sangeeta ji.
जी सर. ण, णा, णी, णी, णु, 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 णु. सर ये 3 नहीं होंगे.
नहीं, उसकी जरूरत भी नहीं क्योंकि वो आते
हाँ.
नहीं. That is fine.
या. णे, णई, णो, णौ, णम, णः.
Okay, correct. Don't worry about those three because they come independently only as the vowels and not with the combinations with the consonants. Only with k they come. Trupti, trupti. Only that one word is there, but otherwise with other consonants they don't come. Okay, the next family is the family. Yes, Mukta ji. Yes, Mukta ji, can you please unmute?
Sorry. Yeah. T, ta, ti, ti, tu, tu, tr, 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 te, tai, to, tau, tung, taha.
Correct. Yes. Very nice, because you also kept in mind Rasva and Dirgha. Accordingly, you articulated. So very nice. Yes, Dhanashri ji.
थ था थी थी थू थू थ्रू 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 थे थई थो थऊ थम थह
Yes, correct. Next one, Rita ji.
the, da, di, di, do, do, dru, dr, drl, they, do, dum, dah.
Yes, you just missed one.
Yeah, do, do,
Do, dum.
do, da. Do, do, dum, dah.
Correct. Okay. Next one, Dinesh ji.
Do, do, da, di, di, do, do, de, they, do, 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 de, they, do, do, dum, da.
Okay. Yes, correct. The next one, Sulekha ji. No.
So no, na, ni, ni, nu, 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 nr. So the next two I can't. What is it? Nr के बाद में?
Ndru.
Nu, nu,
Mm.
ne, nai, no, now, nam, naha.
Correct. Okay, so now most of them we have understood, and I think most of you are pronouncing them correctly. The remaining ones, I think we can keep it for homework and for your practice. Okay, so per varga, the group of per, and after that, yer, lava, sh, sh, s, h. Now forget about ળ, ક્ષ, જ્ય. If you want, you can also practice that. But now mostly we have understood. So this part you can practice independently. Again, in the next class, we can have just one revision of this particular thing. Now, in the last 5 minutes, what I'm planning to do is that now, as we are going to study Sanskrit language, only just reading or only just understanding the grammar, that will not be sufficient. So what I can do is, what we are going to do, that in every class, I will read one shloka at the end. I will read one subhashita at the end. I will explain the meaning of that subhashita in Sanskrit language only. Now, initially, you may not be able to understand the meaning, or maybe you will understand it partially, but there should also be the habit of listening Sanskrit and understanding Sanskrit. Because imagine that, like a child, whenever the child learns the language, all the people around that child, they're speaking in that language, and child doesn't understand anything. But there is also habit of listening, and then gradually the child starts figuring out what exactly is the word, for which object the word has been used. Okay, so in the similar way, in every session, in the last 5 minutes, we are going to study the subhashita, we are going to study the shlokas. Okay, so today I will read one shloka. I will explain the meaning of that shloka in Sanskrit, and let us see how much of that you understand. Okay, so just a minute, I will open. Idanim. Okay, I'm speaking in Sanskrit. Now, don't worry, you will not be able to understand everything, but just try to listen and try to figure out what can be the meaning of the words that I'm articulating. Okay, this is only for listening practice, also the reading practice, because when I'm reading, please also look at the words, how I'm reading, and I will explain the meaning in Sanskrit. Idanim ekam shlokam pathami. अत्र श्लोकः वर्तते उद्यमेन हि सिद्ध्यन्ति कार्याणि न मनोरथैः न हि सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशन्ति मुखे मृगाः. अत्र श्लोकः वर्तते. श्लोकस्य अर्थः अस्ति उद्यमेन हि कार्याणि सिद्ध्यन्ति. कार्याणि नाम कर्माणि. यद्यत् कर्म वयं कुर्मः तस्य कर्मणः सिद्धिः उद्यमेन हि भवति. उद्यमः नाम प्रयत्नः. यदि वयं प्रयत्नं कुर्मः तर्हि प्रयत्नेन एव कर्मणः सिद्धिः भवति. प्रयत्नं विना कर्मणः सिद्धिः न भवति. प्रयत्नं विना कार्यं न सिद्ध्यति. केवलं मनोरथैः, केवलं कल्पना मात्रेण कार्याणि न सिद्ध्यन्ति. कर्मणां सिद्धिः कल्पना मात्रेण न भवति. अत्र एकम् उदाहरणं दीयते. एकम् उदाहरणम् अत्र प्रस्तूयते. न हि. हि नाम निश्चयेन, अवश्यं, सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य. यदि सिंहः, सिंहः नाम वनस्य राजा, सिंहः प्राणी वर्तते. यदि सिंहः सुप्तः अस्ति, सुप्तः नाम यदि सिंहः जागरितः न वर्तते, तर्हि सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य मुखे मृगाः न प्रविशन्ति. मृगाः नाम प्राणिनः, अन्ये प्राणिनः स्वयं सिंहस्य मुखे न प्रविशन्ति. यदि सिंहेन उद्यमः क्रियते, यदि सिंहेन प्रयत्नः क्रियते, तर्हि एव सिंहः भोजनं प्राप्तुं शक्नोति. यदि सिंहः सुप्तः वर्तते तर्हि मृगाः, अन्ये प्राणिनः स्वयं आगत्य सिंहस्य मुखे प्रवेशं न कुर्वन्ति. अतः उक्तम् उद्यमेन नाम प्रयत्नेन एव कार्याणि सिद्ध्यन्ति. मनोरथैः कार्याणि न सिद्ध्यन्ति. यदि सिंहः सुप्तः वर्तते, यदि मनुष्यः निष्क्रियः वर्तते, तर्हि तत्र कोऽपि फलं न प्राप्यते. तत्र फलस्य प्राप्तिः न भवति. यदि सिंहः सुप्तः अस्ति तर्हि तस्य सिंहस्य मुखे मृगाः स्वयं आगत्य प्रवेशं न कुर्वन्ति इति श्लोकस्य अर्थः अस्ति. Now, I hope without explaining in English language you understood the meaning. Okay, so every day in that way, in the same way, we will study the shloka and I will explain the meaning in Sanskrit only. Gradually, we will increase our quantity of Sanskrit. As much as possible, we will speak in Sanskrit so that you can understand. Maybe when I was explaining, you will not understand all the grammar forms, or whether it is sandhi or it is samas, or whether it is verb or it is noun or it is adjective. Maybe the technical things will not be understood initially, but at least the meaning is understood, and we have to develop the habit of reading, listening, speaking, as well as writing, and gradually we will do that. Okay, so here we will stop today.
Recording stopped.
Okay, so whatever we have practiced today, please revise that again at home. Tomorrow is holiday and the next session will happen on Thursday. So we have one day for practice. So the consonants, the vowels and the combinations you can practice at home. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. And as yesterday we had discussed that we'll finish in time because there are people who wanted to participate in question answers also, but after 10 they cannot wait. So maybe if there are some questions, you can put in our WhatsApp group. I will keep it open for everyone, and I will give the answers in the WhatsApp group only. Only just one request, like yesterday we discussed, that don't put any other messages in our group. Also, don't put the other information related to Sanskrit language also. Why I'm saying so? Because we should go step by step. And if somebody is putting the message which is maybe advanced level Sanskrit, then even though it is regarding Sanskrit, but right now we are not in a position to understand that content. So we will go step by step, we will go gradually. And even though you find some interesting messages about Sanskrit language, but don't post them in our group. And if there are any questions, you can post in our group. Okay, so thank you everyone. Good night. We'll meet on Thursday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Namaste,
sir.
sir.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Okay.